Hold the phone.
What is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV.
Is this real?
There can be miracles when you believe. It has happened, people. It has happened.
The day has come.
The day has come, people. Daniel Levy has officially stepped down from his role as Tottenham chairman. I can't believe it. I cannot believe what we're saying right now.
Out of nowhere.
24 years of tyranny is over.
This is a new era.
God.
This is a new era we're about to embark on.
I'm delighted right now. I can't wipe the smile off my face. I have just been like, ever since the news come on, I saw a notification come through on my phone from Spurs Express saying Daniel Levy is gone. And I was like, what's going on here?
Is that a fake account?
Literally, I said, Sim, why has Spurs Express just tweeted out saying Daniel Levy is gone? And then you were like, I don't know. And then he goes on his Twitter and he goes, what? Tottenham tears. They're saying Daniel Levy is gone. Let me just go check the Spurs official accounts. Oh my bloody God. What is happening here? Daniel Levy has stepped down from his role as Spurs chairman.
This is insane.
Oh my God. Let's read through the statement. Read through the statement, Sim, because I can't. I'm like shaking here. Like, ever since I've got the news, I've been pacing up and down the studio.
We can't
I've
believe
not
it.
known what to do. But this is the biggest news, people. This is probably the biggest news that we've heard since starting the bloody channel. So come on, read through the statement.
So Tottenham have announced that Daniel Levy has today stepped down from his role as executive chairman after nearly 25 years. Tottenham Hotspur has been transformed over the last quarter of a century. It's played in European competition in the last 18 of 20 seasons, becoming one of the world's most recognised football clubs, consistently investing in its academy, players, facilities, including a new world-class stadium and state-of-the-art training ground. The club has also competed regularly at the highest level, enjoying a number of fantastic on-field successes, including the recent Europa League Cup win. As part of its succession planning, the club has made a number of senior appointments in recent months, including Vinay Venkatesham, who was hired as CEO, with Thomas Frank as our new men's head coach, and Martin Ho as the new women's head coach. Peter Charrington joined the board and will step into the newly created role of non-executive chairman. This is all part of the club's ambition to ensure that is set up to deliver long-term sporting success. Daniel Levy has said, I'm incredibly proud of the work I've done together with the executive team and all our employees. We have built this club into a global heavyweight, competing at the highest level. More than that, we have built community, and I was lucky enough to work with some of the greatest people in this sport, from the team at Lily White House and Hotspur Way to all the players and managers over the years. I wish to thank all the fans that have supported me over the years. It hasn't always been an easy journey, but significant progress has been made. I will continue to support the club passionately. Peter Charrington, who's now the non-executive chairman, has said, I'm very honoured to become non-executive chairman of this extraordinary club. On behalf of the board, I'd like to thank Daniel and his family for their commitment and loyalty to the club over many years. This is a new era of leadership of the club on and off the pitch. I do recognise there has been a lot of change in recent months as we put in new foundations for the future. We are now fully focused on stability and empowering our talented people across the club, led by Vinay and his executive team. There are no changes to the ownership or shareholder structure of the club.
Well, they weren't bloody lying when they were talking about summer of change. How many times have we spoken about summer of change since supporting this football club? Well, now we've actually really got one. Started off with Donna Cullen, bit the dust. Daniel Levy, gone. Collicott, I think he's gone. I'm not sure if he's gone or not. You're talking about mad changes at boardroom level this summer. Mad changes in the Football League staff, bringing in talent across the board, bringing in a whole new coaching staff led by Thomas Frank. This has been the biggest summer of change I've ever seen at this football club, and this is obviously the biggest one of the lot. The biggest one of the lot. I'm telling you, this is the best transfer window that we've ever had, that this football club has ever had. And look, obviously you can tell I'm delighted at this moment in time, and obviously I haven't made my feelings on Daniel Levy quiet over the past couple of years. But what I do want to say at this moment in time, the club is a very different club to the one Daniel Levy and Enoch picked up in 2001. They have brought the club onto a different pedestal. Getting to a Champions League final, winning the Europa League, but not only that, commercially in a completely different space. The new stadium, training ground, all the infrastructure is there for Spurs to be an unbelievable, massive club. So I want to give them massive credit for doing that, because in that aspect, they have done incredibly well. We are a club ready to explode, and this is what needed to happen, in my opinion, for the club to explode. It's time to hand it over to new people. It's time for fresh ideas to come in. It's time for the football to be at the forefront of this football club, which I believed it would never have been with Daniel Levy at the club. And yes, I know they're saying, it's not changing the ownership structure or anything like that, so it could be much of the same. But I think that there is going to be change in that aspect. I think this is just one of the dominoes to fall for real change to happen at the top. And I cannot be more delighted at this moment in time. The club, I don't think, could progress to where we wanted it to progress to under Daniel Levy. I've said on a number of occasions, I think the ceiling for us under Daniel Levy is top 4 challenges. I know we had a small stint as fighting in the league titles under Maurizio Pochettino, but we quickly regressed back to, mid-table abyss, and then now back, hopefully fighting for top 4 this season under Thomas Frank. But I think this is so significant for Tottenham Hotspur. I think this can only be good news. I really do, and I'm so excited now to see what the future can hold for Tottenham Hotspur. And I think every Spurs fan right now should be absolutely delighted in which the direction the club is going in.
Well, this is clearly something that's been in the pipeline for a long time, isn't it?
Yeah.
In hindsight, because we heard a lot of stuff over the summer about Charrington coming in and butting heads with Daniel Levy and wanting to take Tottenham in a different direction. Daniel Levy, still having that stranglehold over the finances and the way he operates. And I think at the end of the day, this is something that has needed to happen for a while. I think Daniel Levy has done exceptionally well to get us to the point that he has done. But I think it's clear for everyone to see that even his biggest defenders, have to admit that the club need a new figurehead at the top if we're going to progress beyond where we are at the moment and really challenge the guys at the top. Now, it doesn't mean it's guaranteed just because Levy's left that it's all upside now and we're going to go win leagues and Champions Leagues. But what we do know is change needed to happen. Change needed to happen at the top. I think everyone's realised that. I think the club clearly, the board realised that Daniel Levy at the moment, when it comes to the footballing side of the club, he's just not fit for purpose. And as much as he's done a phenomenal job building the infrastructure, the stadium, the finances, as you said, we have all the ingredients to be competing with whoever we need to compete with. We have all the ingredients a top club needs. We just need that extra step. And Daniel Levy at the moment hasn't proven to be able to provide that. And I think and he hasn't proven that consistently. So I think this change is a welcome change from all fans. Obviously, he also puts a lot of the noise to bed when it comes to the fan base, Levy out, all this kind of stuff. It's now happened now. That change has now happened. So all the protests and all these different things change for Spurs. This is what it looks like. We've been calling for it. There's been protests about it. There's been a lot of noise about it. So we've got what we asked for. And now let's hope that all our dreams can start coming true in regards to what's happened today. This is the biggest news that's happened to Tottenham probably in my lifetime. All I've known really since I was young is probably Daniel Levy at Tottenham. Obviously, he joined in 2001. I was 9 years of age. So ever since I've properly started following Tottenham, Daniel Levy has been the figurehead and been the face of the club. And he's all I've really known. Tottenham is Daniel Levy. So the fact we're thinking about a Tottenham without him, we've already gotten used to the fact that we're going to have to think of a Tottenham without Son after 10 years. But now without Daniel Levy after 25 is something that I can't quite believe is actually happening. I can't quite put... even envisage what a Tottenham without Daniel Levy looks like. But all we got to say is now we're embarking on a new era. This is a new Tottenham we're going to be looking at now. This is a new journey. And this is hopefully we have closed the Daniel Levy chapter of Tottenham now. And whatever you want to say about Daniel Levy, you have to say, you know, in terms of where he took over Spurs, where we are now, and the club we are now, you know, he's done a very good job in getting us to where we are. So you have to thank him for leaving us in an incredible situation in which we are. But we all know, to go to that next step, he needed to step aside. We need some change, and we needed someone else at the helm. Maybe this could facilitate a sale, because apparently he's been the stumbling block of that, and he's been the one putting roadblocks in the way of Tottenham being able to sell. He's been being an obstacle to Tottenham selling to a different owner or whatever. So maybe this is the pretext for that. Whatever it is, it's going to be exciting, it's going to be fresh, and it's going to be a new era, a new journey. And I'm really, really excited about where that leads. And I think we can all dream today about what the new era and Tottenham, what do we call it? Tottenham 2.0, potentially? Tottenham 3.0? Whatever you call it.
Mate. It's just Tottenham. Mate.
Tottenham. This is a Daniel Levy-less Tottenham now, from now and for the next chapter, and I can't wait to see what that looks like. But I just want to caution, because, you know, you see what Man United, they long wanted the Glazers to step aside, and they did, and it hasn't immediately gotten better, has it? In fact, it's, you know, in the short term gotten worse. So it's not, you know, as much as we're excited about what the future holds, we can't sit here and say, 'cause Levy's gone, now is all great, and now is all upside.
The Glazers are still there. You know, the Glazers.
But Enoch is still there. Enoch still runs the club.
Still there. You know, Newcastle have been desperate for ownership change, and it's got a whole lot better for them. I think that all the infrastructure is there at Tottenham Hotspur to make this club explode. This club has been ready to explode since probably the stadium has opened, and I think, you know, if you get the right people in there. It's all about getting the right people in there. Charrington is obviously the new CEO now. Is he going to stay CEO for a while, or is this just the kind of holding place until there's a massive takeover at Tottenham? I don't know. We have heard stuff about, you know, Vivian Lewis and how she wants to put footballing matters on the forefront of this football club, and I'm sure she's going to be heavily involved in some point. You know, we've actually seen Vivian Lewis sitting next to Levy at some point during games this season. Yeah. So I think she's going to be heavily involved at some point. There has been rumours that Levy and Vivian Lewis didn't see eye to eye and stuff like that. At the beginning of the summer, we heard rumours that this was going to happen. Levy was going to step down. Charrington was going to be CEO. Vinay was going to be put on the board. And there was a suggestion that Paratici was going to be on the board as well. And I think if that's true, there's no confirmation of that as of yet. But if that is true, and that's something that can happen, to put a proper footballing person like Fabio Paratici on the board, I think that would be absolutely sensational for us. When's the last time Spurs have had an actual footballing person on the board? Probably never. Probably never, because I don't know what the board structure looked like before Sir Alan Sugar. Alan Sugar was what kind of I grew up with at Tottenham, or the start of my Tottenham career, and all I remember and the vague memories I have is protests for Sugar and George Graham to leave Tottenham Hotspur. But this is a monumental moment.
And I think when you talk about the changes it will make to the footballing operations, you know, Daniel Levy has just made an enemy of so many chairmen over the years as well. And I think obviously that comes with his tough negotiation style and the fact that he's, you know, probably done some underhanded things as well, gone back to the table when the things already agreed. There's a load of different stories about Daniel Levy and how he's negotiated. So, you know, you've even seen this summer, I think it's been kind of like, as people see it as like a massive win, or it's been like a game to try and get one up on Daniel Levy, isn't it? With a lot of chairmen at the moment. So the fact we've kind of removed that now and we can start afresh, we have someone different at the helm doing the negotiating.
Who is going to do the negotiations?
I don't know. I've got no idea, but it's going to be a different voice in the room. It's going to be someone else. And I think, look, at the end of the day, I think we have been seeing a change in our approach this summer, going for bigger players, higher profile players, putting down a release clause for Gibbs White, whatever you want to say about it, going for bigger players who are in their prime of their careers, challenging bigger clubs for these better players as well, you know, putting down bigger money. So I think there has been a change in a slight change in our approach this summer. And has this been a precursor to Daniel Levy leaving? I think clearly there's been so much in place, hasn't there?
Clearly it has. I think, you know, this doesn't happen overnight. This has probably been in the works for some time. And I think that the summer that you've seen at Tottenham Hotspur, I can only hope and pray, but I genuinely believe it as well, that the summer that you've just seen at Tottenham Hotspur, with the calibre of player, with the money that we're willing to put down, I think that's what you're going to start to see from Tottenham now. And I think there's going to be some serious ambition at this football club.
Yeah, and I hope so. I hope so. And I hope this is the new era proves fruitful, and the new era is one of many trophies and getting us to where we want to be, which is challenging right at the very top with the biggest clubs, and not settling for second best or third best, fourth best, and trying to be the best we can be. And there's always been something holding us back, as much as we've, look, when you got to say, when Levy came in, we were a mid-table team, weren't we? We how many years have we not gone in Europe before Levy came? Europe was a dream in itself before Levy.
100%. Look, like I said, there are many things.
I'm saying from a footballing point of view as well. We're in a different, not
100%.
not just structurally, like from a footballing point of
100%.
view. We're now, football's now an European football's now an expectation.
Yeah.
Whereas when Levy first came in, I remember when we hadn't been in Europe for so long, I was like, we were looking at the Fair Play League to see if we can get in, and I was like, oh, it's a dream to just even sneak in that way. That's how desperate we were for Europe back then.
That year we got it under Martin Jol, going to Prague, that first European game. That was the first time since we got there, since I think winning the Worthington Cup in 1999, when we went out to Kaiserslautern and Stephen Carr scoring own goals and all this kind of stuff.
So now we're in a different way where Europe has been, as the statement said, 18 of the last 20 seasons we've been in Europe. Champions League, I don't know for 7 of those. So it's the norm to be in Europe. But it's all well and good doing that, and it is great. But we haven't been able to make that next step, and we've tried different things, but he has not been able to get it done when it comes to getting us competitive consistently and keeping us competitive, and not letting things fall by the wayside, and making bad decision after bad decision on the footballing side of things and holding us back in certain ways. So
you know what they say, Sim? They say if you're not moving forwards, if you're standing still, you're moving backwards, and that's what we've done for far too long at this football club. It's all very well him getting us to that certain stage, but he wasn't able to get us to the next stage. And you need to keep moving forward and progressing as a football club. And I thank him for progressing us to a certain level, but we've stagnated for too long.
Yeah, there needed to be change. And now here it is.
Yeah.
So these next few years are going to be very, very interesting.
So Ali Gold has just tweeted, he said, Peter Charrington is the new non-exec chairman. Levy was executive chairman, so Vinay Venkatesham is hands-on with the day-to-day running of the football club as CEO. Levy and his family still own or are beneficiaries of 29.88% of Enix's share of the club. So he's still involved in some way, but he's not any sort of decision maker. So
Vinay is doing the day-to-day. So Vinay is basically going to be doing all the micromanaging that Levy was doing. But does that mean Vinay is going to be doing the negotiating? Or is that Charrington?
I imagine it'll be Vinay. I think from now until January transfer window, I'm sure it will come to light what the actual structure is and who's going to be doing what, and will other people come in, and will there be an ownership? Look, I'm sure everything will come. But for now, the transfer window is shut. Vinay is going to be running the day-to-day of the football club.
So it's interesting we announced it so close after the end of the transfer window, isn't it?
Yeah.
So clearly this was planned before the window. We know all these things were put in place. So I do wonder, was this Levy basically showing Vinay and Charrington the ropes of this is how we do transfers at the transfer window? This is a handover, because he could have left before the window, but he didn't. He waited till the window was closed to leave, and obviously we know he was doing the negotiating for Eze and for other players. So
I'm desperate to know what role Don Paratici is going to be taken up at Tottenham Hotspur.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be significant for me. But look, that is the breaking news today. Daniel Levy has stepped down as Tottenham chairman. And I know one person that you guys are dying to hear from at this moment in time. And let's bring him on.
Daniel Levy.
Mr. Brian Daigle. How are you feeling right now?
Brian, it's happened.
What do you want to talk about? I dreamed a dream of time gone by. I could do a musical.
Should we just do the whole 3-hour Les Mis, Brian? Just go for it.
Why not? Oh, happy days. Oh, happy days. I don't know how many songs you're going to get from me right now. My good God, my phone. I cannot believe how mad my phone has just gone. My dear Lord, my boycott is over. Everything is over.
So that, are you coming to the stadium now?
Oh, well, I would do. I could, but now I'm gonna have to buy a Spurs membership because you can't come in unless you got a Spurs. So
Are you
everything's
going?
got to change now.
Are you going to the Spurs shop now? Are you going to buy your nephew some shirts?
Mate, my nephews were saying when I'm over, would I take them into the Spurs shop? And I was like, not a chance. Now, yes, I will. Yes, I bloody well. Yes, I bloody well will. Mate,
We've got our Jagle back. We've got our Jagle back.
I will say, like we said, thank you, Daniel, for the commercial growth. Thank you for the stadium. Thank you for the training ground. Thank you for getting us into Europe. But your methods and everything were stuck back in the early 2000s. And now this is a joyous day. This is a joyous day. No more training ground protest. Nothing is needed. It is wonderful, wonderful news for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. And mate, I never thought, I didn't know how long I'd have to wait for this day. And this day is finally here. So I will be getting, as promised, a tattoo there, like I've got there, of this date. What is it? The 4th of September, 2025. We'll be getting tattooed across there when I get back to England. I don't know if you guys know, but I'm kind of happy right now.
What's the tattoo going to say?
Well, like I said, I've got a tattoo here which means a lot to me, which is me and Ilana have got the longitude and latitude of the coordinates of where we got married. This wrist here is just going to have today's date and Levy gone written on it, or something along those lines. It's a joyous day. It's a joyous day.
So tell me about what you think the future of Tottenham now holds after Levy's 25 years at the helm. It's finally come to an end after many protests and, whatever has gone on in the past. But what's the future going to look like, do you think?
Well, put it this way, mate. He got a 25-year run at trying on the pitch. We're just talking about on the pitch now, of trying to deliver success and trophies to this football club, namely trophies, and he brought 2 in 25 years. I think we all saw this window that the calibre of player had gone up, and we're all talking about, was investment coming in? Is it new money? Is there there's got to be something going on? It's come now. Well, I think what happens if whoever's in charge now, it's a clean slate of transfer negotiations, isn't it? It's not, okay, we're dealing with Levy, here we go with all this negotiating and all the nonsense that he brings with it. I think it's a completely fresh approach to attracting players. I think it's a brand new approach to dealing with clubs. Maybe we'll come into the 2025 era of how you negotiate transfers. I think that will change. It's just, I think a lot will change with this football club now. And I think you can clearly see this hasn't been a decision since the window shut. This would have been pre-thought. And I think it may have shown with the calibre of players we were trying to go for.
Yeah, do you think that window has been a precursor of planning for life after Levy? Is this the kind of ambition our Spurs going to be showing now from window to window?
You got to hope so, and you got to think Romero signing his contract after his shots at the board.
Yeah.
Do you reckon he was told, look, Levy's stepping down, mate, you can sign?
The change in wage structure, mate, there's been so much to change. Like we said, Frank being able to bring the amount of coaches that he did, the change at the board level. It's just, look, it's an absolute, all the dark clouds have gone away. It's sunshine and blue skies. And now we see what Tottenham Hotspur are made of. Now we see this FFP and PSR that we are so far ahead of, thanks in part to Daniel Levy. I'll credit him that. Well, now hopefully we can exploit it.
Yeah, I mean, your schedule has just been cleared up massively since coming back to London. Mate. No more training ground. You can actually go into the stadium.
How are you going to end your videos now, Brian? What are these going to be used for?
And as always, Levy gone. And as always, Levy gone, mate. As I've been saying, my dream has always been the day that we get to say Levy out as Levy gone, and it's happened.
Brian, the ENIC is still here, right? So there's not been a change in ownership. Just Daniel Levy has left the club.
Yep.
He still has, and him and his family still have a percentage holdings, 29% in Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, as much as we've all criticised Levy and banged on that drum for many years now we're really going to see who the real issue was at Tottenham. Was it Daniel Levy or was it ENIC?
Yeah, I mean, we've heard, Ben, obviously, bro, that Vivian has always wanted to invest in Spurs.
Yeah.
We've always heard that rumour that Vivian actually does want to heavily invest and bring success on the pitch and make Spurs not just one of the big six in stature, but one of the big six in Premier League football by trying to win the league and trying to bring glory to this football club on a regular basis. We will see. We will see how money is spent and how this club approaches it. And now we will see if it was Levy, if it is Lewis or the Lewis family. But I just think a lot of the way we deal with things now as a football club will be focused on the football club.
Yeah, I do agree with that. And do you think that this was Levy's decision in himself? Was he pushed? Was it anything to do with the Lewis family? What do you think has happened here?
Let's just say, don't know, don't care. Oh no, don't care. It's happened. I don't care what method it's happened by. It's something that people will know that I've been 17 years, 10 months against. Obviously, 3-4 years of protesting very, very heavily, as and when I can. Initiating training ground protests with Ryan Isaacs and Graham. Obviously, doing everything in front of the club shop. Coming back early to support change for Spurs and Tottenham and everything they did. Whatever method and whatever way it's happened that he's gone, great. I don't care if he was pushed, he decided, he was told, whatever it was, he's gone.
Yeah.
So when it comes to that element of holding the club accountable, now Daniel Levy's gone. You're saying, you're not gonna, you're gonna come back to the club now. You're gonna go into the stadium and everything. No more protests. But if things don't improve, is it about holding ENIC themselves accountable
100%.
and demanding, and then because when it comes to change for Tottenham, is this what change for Tottenham means, or is it if ENIC leave, then that's change?
Yeah, do you know what, Simeon? When it comes to this now, obviously it's ENIC as well that we've had as the issue, but obviously Levy is there. It's going for ENIC as much as it's always been a part. Joe Lewis don't care. He ain't there, does he? No one's there. And Levy has obviously been the target, and for obvious reasons. Some people will defend what Levy has done, and that's their prerogative. Obviously, there's a lot of people that felt along the lines of myself. Now, when it comes to the January window, this is on ENIC.
Yeah.
This is on. You can't listen. You can't judge it. I can't go nuts at ENIC right now, because this will be the first window coming up, January, where this has got nothing to do with Daniel Levy. Will we hear January as a hard window to do business in? Or will Spurs say, we've got the money, we need player XYZ, here is player XYZ. It's now, let's wait and see what happens. ENIC is still a problem, in my opinion. But, Levy is gone, so let's see what ENIC do in January. Let's see what ENIC do in the... Well, that's if ENIC get to January. We were hearing with new money coming in, maybe... New money is coming in, and we heard one of the ones were we wanted Levy gone before we invested, and there were rumours that he wanted to stay on or he wanted to keep all the rights to the stadium, and so we'll see what happens.
That's another question, Brian. There was a lot of rumours that Levy was the biggest obstacle to Tottenham making a sale, to ENIC selling up. So do you think this could potentially be a precursor to new ownership?
Yes. Yeah, well, maybe not new ownership straight away, but certainly new investment. And whether it's a minority stake or what do you call a minority stake? 10, 15%? When did it become into, obviously, I don't think it'll be 50-50 to start with, but I do think, and you mentioned as well with Charrington, when he first came in, it was a non-executive director. And everyone was like, why we brought another non-football guy in, another financial guy? Then obviously it looked in company house or whatever. He'd been given the Lewis family kind of shares. And now he's been elevated into what role did you say that Spurs have said he is now?
Non-executive chairman Charrington or Vinay.
I mean, I don't know what that particularly means, in all honesty, but obviously he's got a big seat at the table, whether they want to say non-executive or not. And then now we'll see what happens with Vinay, with the Don coming back apparently, waiting for that to be officially. It's a whole new look, isn't it?
It really is.
It's a whole new look. There's excitement, there's hope, there's belief. After a window like we've had, people have said we've been left short. Maybe we have been left short because we do want Savinho or player X, and we couldn't get him in January. But guess what? The summer. But it's like, no, we're not going to buy some cheap alternative. Like we said, we've always said we wanted quality over quantity, and there's no doubt that Spurs have brought quality in this window.
Brian, can you actually believe that you're talking about this right now?
No.
September the 4th, 6:30, when you woke up this morning or whatever time, I don't even know what time it is in Canada right now, but could you believe that you are seriously talking about the thing that you've been campaigning for so many years?
Yep. Well, I put it this way. I said I was going to do a late night Lily White tonight, and I booked it. And I was like, talk about the Champions League squad, talk about the transfer window, just have general Spurs chat. I think we've got something to talk about now, haven't we? I think we've. I honestly, I can't believe we're talking. I thought we were a couple of years away minimum. I honestly thought minimum a couple of years away. And then obviously my phone started going mad. And then when you see the tweet sent to you, you check, has Spurs official been spelled right? Then you're doubting, is that the way you spell Spurs official? Then you go to check it. Then your phone goes nuts. You're like, okay, I think it's genuine. So I'm going to have a month-long party. I'll probably be skipping up and down the high road for Wolves. Literally skipping up and down the high road. It's just it's a fantastic day for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, the football club. There are loads of people like me that have refused to spend money in the shop, have refused to go into the stadium. People that haven't gone to the stadium since it's been built. The only thing I thought of immediately, I think I've told you both, Ben and Tim, I think it's between 10 to 15 guys that have put £25 in an account every single month since the first game at Palace, and said from the second he's gone, we're going to blow all that money on the biggest bender ever. The last time I heard, they were up to £25,000.
Wow.
So there's going to be a lot of people. I don't know where they're going, whether it be Vegas was the last one or whatever. There's going to be people on a big bender right now. It's just a fantastic day.
Unbelievable. Brian, I'm going to let you get to your celebrations. I know you're absolutely delighted right now, and I'll definitely be speaking to you later tonight.
Yeah,
but
I can see why I'm going. Come on! Come on, brother! Come on! Yes, I can see you. Come on! Yes. Ding
Brian,
dong,
when
he's gone.
when is the parade, Brian? When are we organising the parade?
Hey, that's my next thing. Let's do that. Let's organise a parade. Let's organise for the Wolves game a Levy out. Why not? Why not, brothers?
And not long till you come back to London, Brian, as well. I bet you must be buzzing to get back down to London now.
Mate, I can't wait. I cannot wait. You think, when is the next home game? Is it Wolves?
No, the next home game is Villarreal.
It's mate, that stadium, the atmosphere. Oh my God, it's glorious. It's glorious. But I'll go so you can bring on another person that has stood with me every single step of the way and done everything. Much love to the person coming on. Ding dong, Levy's gone. And for the first time, I can say, and as always, Levy gone.
Big up to Mr. Brian Nagel.
Big up, Brian.
Big up, Mr. Brian Nagel.
Unbelievable.
He is on top of the world. We are on top of the world. And let's bring on someone else that is most definitely on top of the world. And he goes by the name of Stelios. Stelios, talk to me, man. How are you feeling right now?
Your shirt says it all, Stel. Time for change, and here it is.
Guys. Oh, what a night. Supporting Tottenham on a Monday night. Levy's gone because he's beep beep shy. Oh, what a feeling, what a night. They said protesting doesn't work. They said you're wasting your time. They said, what are you doing? You don't get it. I'm sorry, it does work. Fans have power. He's gone. I'm delighted. We can now start being a big football club, guys. We can start. In fact, ask me a question, right? I need you to ask me the question. What do I rate the transfer window out of 10 2 days ago?
Go on.
Just answer your own questions, Del. Go on.
I give it a 7 out of 10. Now ask me today what I rate it as.
What would you rate it, Stel?
10 out of 10! It's a 10!
It's got to be more than that. It's got to be more than that. What do you think this actually means for Tottenham, though? Because ENIC is still there. Charrington's been put in the spot now. What does this actually mean for Tottenham Hotspur now, moving forward?
It means we can start doing things like a big club, right? Transfers. Look at this window. Paulinho, Premier League proven. Kudus, Premier League proven. Xavi Simons, one of the most exciting attacking midfielders in Europe. Not Odebert, Tell, Grays, all these generational hit or miss. This is a proper, young, up-and-coming, established talent. Kouani plays for Juventus, played for Paris Saint-Germain, plays for France. These are players that have got something about them. Not the usual dross mishmash we're used to. We've never seen a window where we've just signed just quality. All right, we need more. But that tells you things are already different. So for me, we're starting to behave like a top 6 club. We're beginning to behave like a proper football club. And that's all we've ever said. We've never criticised the stadium. We've never criticised the increased revenues. We've never criticised the academy training centre, the new first team facilities. We've never criticised all these new sponsorship deals. What we've said is put it into the team. Start signing some talent. Behave like a big club. This is the beginning of it. This is the beginning of Tottenham behaving like a proper big football club. And you know what? Long may it continue.
Do you think, Stel, Levy stepping down is potentially a precursor to ENIC selling up?
I hope so, because it's not all on Levy. Joe Lewis is just as culpable. He just gets to hide in the Bahamas on his yacht. Levy's kind of the face of it all, taking all the hits and all the, I guess, frustrations, anger and hate from the fans. But yeah, hopefully it is the beginning of a new ownership. But if the current ownership can make it work with a new structure, I mean, I'm not against that. But they've got to prove it now. They've got to prove this. They've got to keep backing Frank. Can't just be one really good window. Bring in another top player in January. Bring in another 4 next summer. Keep the manager. Build. Actually take the club in a direction where it's not, it's not working, panic, sack the manager, new project, new rebuild. They've got to prove it now. But the signs, you could say, are there.
So
see where it goes, but
as a big advocate for I see the shirt. Is that a Change for Spurs t-shirt, or is that what t-shirt is that? Is that a Change for Tottenham t-shirt, or is that Tottenham away?
No, JP ripped off Change for Tottenham and put a Tottenham away badge on it.
I'm sorry I asked. So no, you've obviously been a big advocate for Change for Spurs and organising protest. Where does this happening? Where does that leave all of that side to what you've been advocating for? Is that now all done with? Is it a kind of wait and see job, or is it a case of you're still going to be very vigilant, and if you don't like what you're seeing, it's back to processing ENIC instead of Levy kind of thing?
No, it's wait and see, but give them a chance. So it's always been Levy out and ENIC out, but we've often just said Levy out because he's the chairman, he's the one that makes comments like we want to win the Champions League, we want to win the Premier League, and all the things that we've ever jumped on his back for. Joe Lewis, like I've said, he hides. He just sits in the Bahamas and Levy takes the brunt of it. So it's still ENIC out and Levy out, but if a new chairman now steps in and there's a new corporate structure, a new boardroom structure, obviously Donna Cullen's gone, Vinay's in, Charrington's in, we've got to give them a chance to show that they get it. That they've come in not just for, shits and giggles and a new image that we all get sucked in by. We've got to see it, but I think we can all see in the transfer window, there's definitely a clear change of direction in approach. And the fact that Thomas Frank has omitted Matthias Tell from the squad for the Champions League, that's £40 million worth of so-called generational amazing talent who I've never wanted in this club. I never thought Matthias Tell was a good idea. The manager said, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. He shouldn't be at this club. Otherwise, he would be in that Champions League squad. So that says to me, it's the kind of meddling behind the scenes club signings that Matthias Tell looks like. That's coming to an end now. No more. We're not doing this anymore. So Levy's out, transfer policy change, new era. We give it a chance, and we will now see if Joe Lewis has been advised you need a change of chairman, you need a fresher set of eyes and a new direction for Tottenham Hotspur. You can't keep wasting millions of pounds on players that don't ever make it at this club, that don't improve the football club, and fans call it generational, and we cling on to hope that maybe they come good. And start signing players that are genuinely going to take us forward. Again, how many years have we been waiting for a stadium naming rights still, sponsorship for the stadium? It's been 5-6 years. Let's bring in some new people and see if they can get the business done, because it's clearly not worked with Levy.
Yeah.
So I think it is. I think it is going now in the right direction. But you're right. We've got to be vigilant. We've got to wait and see. It can't just be all these wonderful things happening and that's it. We're done. We've arrived. They've got to keep it going now. So I guess we can answer your question in maybe 3 years' time. We're going to need time to prove it. It's not going to happen in 1 year. They're going to need some time.
Let me ask you this, Stel. Obviously, 24 years since 2001 when he took over. Now it's all said and done. Now he's gone. I can't believe I'm saying it. Now he's gone. How do you look back at his time at Tottenham, from the club he took over to now what we are?
Missed opportunities, pain, anger, banter. I don't have positive energy from him, guys. I'm sorry, I don't. That's why I protested. I think he's done well in building a new stadium, building a new trading facility, increasing the revenues. But the reality is, guys, he's going to benefit from it. He gets record salaries as director of Tottenham Hotspur and chairman of Tottenham Hotspur. He's the most highest paid chairman. My salary hasn't improved because of him. I'm not making more money because of him. Yeah, the club's worth more money. Great. When he sells, he's going to be a billionaire. We're not going to be billionaires. We're paying the highest prices in English football. We're paying £165 for a replica Tottenham Hotspur jersey. I haven't benefited from him being here. He has benefited from being here. So I don't have lots of positive energy and good things to say. The one thing I will compliment him on, and I think it's fully deserved, the current structure and infrastructure of the club is in a great position for serious football people to take over. For serious football to say, do you know what? This isn't Man United. I'm going to buy shares in them, and I've got to find £3 billion to build a new Old Trafford, and I've also got to balance the books, and I've got to lay off all the catering staff because we can't balance the books. We're not in that situation. So Jim Ratcliffe is in a difficult situation, having taken some equity in the club. At least I would give Daniel Levy credit that he set up the club with Joe Lewis and Enoch to now pass it on to serious people. But let's have it right, guys. He's made an absolute killing on us doing it. And what have we had in return? A Carabao Cup and the Europa Cup last season. Other than that, what have we really had? It's been painful, man. We've been a banter club. Spursy, bottle jobs. That's what we're known for. So I don't have great memories of Levy or Enoch, but I will give them compliments for building an infrastructure that a serious consortium or a serious ownership can one day take over, and they don't have to do all the hard work of building that. It's there. All they've got to do is focus on building a football team.
Stel, at the beginning of the call, you said you were talking about protests. You know, people say protests don't work. Look what's happened. So what role do you really believe the fans played in what's happened today?
Well, the first sign was when Nuno lost that classic game. What was it called? El Sacico. 3-0 to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And that's when the first Levy out chants in the stadium started. And I believe that was the game, or there was a game further down the road.
No, that was the game he sacked Nuno straight after. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but that was the beginning of the Levy out chance,
Mm-hmm.
and that famous clip of his other half kind of stroking his hand, saying, "It'll be all right, Daniel. Things will be okay." It got to him. The fans got to him, and then he kind of dismissed as, you know, the protests don't work, and, you know, fans that defended Levy and the media who defended him made out the protests don't work. But yet, when he did that interview with Gary Neville a couple of months ago, he said, he was asked, you know, the protests, the fans that don't want you here, that want you out. He said, of course it bothers me. Of course it gets to me. We got to him. And I think he felt that it was becoming untenable. And I think that the board and the owners must have looked at it and said, look, Daniel, this can't keep going on. We can't have every single year Levy out, Enoch out, fans protesting. Last year was the big one, though, because last year we got the complete attention of all the media. All the mainstream media latched onto that massive protest that we had. And all the podcasters were talking about it. Whereas before, it was only Tottenham away. It was only Tottenham away, Brian Daigle and Stell, that were talking about Levy out and Enoch out. And then you guys obviously went to the protests when we tried to join the European Super League.
Yeah.
You guys were there. And then really the only YouTube channels that were prepared to talk about it were you, Tottenham on tour and Tottenham away. Nobody wanted to touch it. Nobody wanted to talk about it. Last year, though, every YouTube channel was talking about it. Every podcast was talking about it. All the media channels were talking about it. Suddenly, rival fans were saying, oh, flipping hell, that's a lot of you that went to that protest.
Yeah.
What's going on down at Tottenham? I think that was the beginning of the end for Daniel, because the position now became untenable. And this was always my argument. You can't force an ownership out, but you can make their position untenable. And finally, we made their position untenable. And there must have been discussions at a higher level. There must have been discussions where they said, look, we need to change this up. It can't continue like this. And this was always my argument with all fans. We can force change. Don't listen to fans that dismiss the power of fans. Fans have the power because we are the customer. We are the customer. Never forget that. The customer doesn't want to know anymore. The customer's going to kick up a stink. At some point, something has to give. So,
Still, you know, you've been very vocal in the fact that you'll never put money into the club apart from tickets and stuff like that. Will you go into the club shop now? Will you buy a shirt?
do you know what? I kind of did already. I'm not going to lie to you. So,
What, in the last couple of hours? In the last hour?
One second. So basically, when you're a season ticket holder, you get a 20%, a £20 voucher. And I thought, what's the minimum I could spend so I can use my 20 quid? So I found a way to only spend a fiver, but it was to annoy all the fans that I do YouTube with, who just hate Ange Postecoglou. So I had to buy this, guys. I had to.
Okay.
So I've got.
But would you actually go and spend like actual money in the club shop now?
That's a great question. I never even thought about it, to be honest with you. I want to see how it goes with this new structure. I'm happy because I really do think this is the beginning of proper change and Tottenham becoming a proper football club now. I do think this is the beginning, and the transfers for me is the big one. I always said transfers will be the big indicator. Are we, when Spurs are different, when the type of players we bring into our club are not the typical pattern of let's sign one good player, 3 random kids that we've never heard of, and a bunch of mishmash players and hope it all gels. We've signed 4 very good players. We genuinely have signed 4 very good players. So that is the indicator that something at Spurs is changing. The fact that we haven't put Mateus Tell, like I said earlier, into the Champions League squad, that tells you something is changing. We're not just going to put players into the squad because we've spent money on them. No, that has to stop. These are the things that have hurt us in the past. So I do think things are changing at Spurs. I do think now the club is going to start focusing more on football. And I do believe that over time, we're going to see the rewards of a new set of eyes and a new direction for the football club. The fruits of that will come. But you're right, guys. Look, Joe Lewis is still the owner. He can still pull the plug on anything at any minute. He's the majority shareholder. But maybe he's come to his senses. And maybe he is now looking to pass it down to family or sell it on to a new ownership. But I do think this is the beginning of something good for us. And fingers crossed I'm right on this, because if not, then yeah, we're going to be back to protesting until we get the actual change that we really, really want, which is we want Tottenham to justify building that £1 billion stadium, to justify us paying the highest ticket prices in English football, and to justify the revenues that we earn. You've got to show it on the football pitch. We've got to show it as ambition, which is determined by, one, the calibre of players we sign. Two, when you say new project, stick with the project. Stop sabotaging it or pulling the plug on it after 2 years. And keep backing the manager. Because then, guys, we can say, you know what? This isn't the board. It's not Enoch. It's not the chairman. It's not the transfer committee. This is on the manager now. I've never, ever, ever, as a Spurs fan, been able to genuinely say this is 100% on the manager. I've never been able to say that. I hope now we start behaving in a way where I can say, right, the club have done everything they can. This is on the manager. Because then I know we're ambitious and we're behaving like what a big club should behave like.
Stel, I'll let you go and enjoy the rest of your evening, because I know you're going to be popping a bottle tonight and celebrating. But thank you for coming on today, my friend.
Oh, what a night. Look after yourselves.
Big up,
Nice
Stel.
to see you, Stel.
And that was a very happy Stelios, people. And from one happy camper to the next, the legends keep rolling through.
Oh, is he just frozen?
Oh, he's just frozen as we were about to get him on. We'll get him on in a very short while. But let's go through a couple of super chats while we're waiting. The first one was from Michael Hellman, and he said, enjoy a round on me to celebrate Levy out. These are uncharted waters, but what can be worse than the Levy reign? Big up, hashtag come on you Spurs.
It's very exciting, man. It's very exciting news. In terms of what can be worse, I mean, look at West Ham. It can be worse, trust me. But I'm really excited about what the future holds. What do you think about what Stel was saying there quickly, in terms of, you know how you've always said, nothing's going to change until there's change at the top and in this ownership hierarchy. Is that kind of way of thinking and talk done now?
I think it has to be for now. I mean, we have to see who's going to be running the club, how they're going to be running the club. Is it going to still be Enoch's fingerprints all over it? And was it Daniel Levy's doing the way the club was running? Was it Enoch ultimately that kind of tied his hand behind his back? Look, there are still questions to be answered, but this is a massive step in the right direction.
You can't ask for a bigger change.
Job, isn't it? It's
can't
not
ask for a bigger change.
Exactly. But look, our guest is ready to come on. Like I said, from one legend to the next, and he goes by the name of Ricky Sachs from the great channel, which is Last Word on Spurs. Let's bring him on, Ricky.
Come on, Ricky.
Yeah, he was able to fit us into his busy schedule on Sky, on all the big publications, but here he is on We Are Tottenham TV.
Hey boys, always got time for you amazing boys. How are you both? You okay?
We are on top of the world right now, Ricky. I can see from that smile on your face. So are you, my friend. Talk to me about how you're feeling right now.
Boys, you're the same as me. We've been on a lot of the obviously recent protests, in the last however many years. Again, I can't claim to be someone that's been avidly marching for the last 15, 20 years. Don't get me wrong. Brian, bless him, who's been, avidly, as we know, someone that's been, adversely against what Daniel Levy's, I say, done to the football club, but in some degree the lack of success, certainly over, you look at the quarter of a century in general, you can't take away, what he's done from a stadium and training ground perspective, but at the end of the day, as you boys will know, you were out there in Bilbao, we can't be a club that just wins once or twice in 17 years. It's a club that is got a rich history of winning. Look, not winning leagues, but winning cups certainly. The thing about it, boys, is, let's be honest about it, it's a step into the unknown. But at the same time, I think my feeling in the last, certainly, year and a half, 2 years has been that I feel like we've been kind of in that Newcastle situation where under Mike Ashley, where you're kind of almost stuck in this hamster wheel that doesn't ever really show any signs of massively changing. And it's ironic that the actual transfer window in which Daniel departs, the calibre of player level has gone up. But also we saw a lot of classic Tottenham in that transfer window, high profile, failure transfers, that Daniel Levy openly admitted and said himself on The Athletic. He ran, the likes of the Eberici Eze, the Gibbs White deal to some degree. Look, again, we're not in the room, so we don't know a huge amount about that particular deal. But at the end of the day, there was a lot of classic Tottenham about that previous transfer window. And whilst the calibre of players certainly moved up, there was a very much classic theme to the way Tottenham would not get certain players over the line. But being honest with you boys, look, it is a step into the unknown. But I think if you asked a lot of Tottenham fans, look, boys as well, we're lucky, we're humbled by a lot of the support we get out there from the Spurs community. We can't speak for everybody, but I think if you polled a huge amount of Tottenham fans, they would now throw the dice, they would now gamble and think, well, do you know what? 2 trophies in the last 17 years, the lack of real consistent success, we're willing to roll the dice, we're willing to, gamble on what could come next for Tottenham. And the reality is that we know, boys, talented squad, very good manager, arguably what you'd say 2 or 3 maybe real genuine needle mover players away from being a club that can compete at the very, very top. And with the right backing, with the right sustainable level of investment, this could be such an exciting time for Tottenham. But as you boys know as well as me right now, it's also a step into the unknown. We've all only known this. We've only known this for the last 25 years. So even getting your head around the fact, as you boys will know, to not even say Daniel Levy's name on your show anymore is going to take some getting used to. I know certainly it's going to be for us as well on Last Word on Spurs. To not mention Daniel Levy's name, which has probably been the one common key word if you looked at all the We Are Tottenham TV and Last Word on Spurs shows put together over the last how many years, how many times have we said the name Daniel Levy on a show? Probably it would be, if not every show we've mentioned Daniel Levy's name. So just getting your head around the fact he's no longer going to be there, it is mind-blowing, guys. It really is mind-blowing. It is really mind-blowing.
What do you think about the timing, Ricky? 2 days after the transfer window's closed, this is announced. There's obviously a lot of rumours, as Lee was saying, earlier in the summer about all these different things. So obviously this has clearly been in the pipeline for a while. Do you believe this has all been very carefully orchestrated to be announced at this kind of time?
The thing is, Sim, as you know, we've heard murmurs as well from Lee, from Paul O'Keefe as well, that Paul's on later tonight with us on Last Word on Spurs, which is going to be fascinating in terms of timing. The reality is I think we've heard murmurs, guys, over this last kind of 12, 18 months that they felt there was going to be some form of boardroom reshuffle. And obviously we saw with Donna Cunnan leaving as well in the earlier part of the summer. You could tell there was going to be a change at boardroom level. I think what's fascinating, guys, again, is that there's no change in terms of ENIC still retaining control of Tottenham at this stage. So I think we have to remember that whilst there's big celebrations about the fact Daniel Levy's going, ENIC in terms of the organisation are still in control of Tottenham, and they're an investment company. So the reality is how much of ENIC is going to massively change in this next however many years they're in control of the club. We don't know. Is this with a view to a takeover? I think we're hearing suggestions now that Vinay Venkatesham is going to be doing the day-to-day running of Tottenham. So, look, it's a completely different Tottenham to the Tottenham Daniel Levy walked into 25 years ago. And I think we have to remember that, at the same time, he took over a club, let's be honest about it, guys, that whilst there was before his time, decent success in terms of cup, trophies, there also was, mediocre league finishes, as we know. So he did take us up into the top 6. You could argue he did get us competing for Champions League football, but it has felt like that was only going to be the level. We were never going to really significantly push on during his tenureship. So look, that's why, again, what's fascinating is you see a lot of people do down fan power. The work you guys do, Change for Spurs do, we campaign on Last Word on Spurs. You have to ask yourself, this is not in an arrogance way at all, if all those fans did not come together the way they had done in this last 18, 24 months and made their feelings known against the board, would this have happened? I'm not quite sure it would have done. So it just goes back to show, the game is about the fans, it's for the fans, and that should never be forgotten, that although we look up to footballers, we look up to managers, the fans are the heartbeat of every club. We saw that during COVID as well, that without the fans, football is nothing. So this is a massive win, I think, for supporters that have wanted Daniel Levy to leave the club for a long, long time. We're getting our wish to some degree, but at the same time as well, boys, as we know, we are stepping into the unknown here. There's no guarantee as to what comes next, and that's why from a Tottenham fan perspective, it's very fascinating as to what comes next. And like you said in your question to me in terms of the timing of it, that makes it even more fascinating just on the back of a transfer window, you know, where Daniel Levy, as we know, was highly active and highly relevant in a lot of negotiations for not only the players that come in, but also the players that didn't come in.
Yeah, Ricky, you know, we talk about going into the unknown, the summer of change, which actually really was the summer of change this year. Do you feel like this is a precursor to actually ENIC selling the club, or what would your prediction be on that one?
Oh, it's $1 million question, boys. That's $1 million question. You know, ENIC have had control of the club, as we've said, for a quarter of a century.
Yeah.
There comes a time when organisations will look and think, have we taken this as far as we physically can and mentally can as well? You know, you look around what's in the Premier League now, you've got state ownership, which again I know causes divide amongst fans in terms of what they want about that. But I think there will come a time, you know, they've been going for so many years at Tottenham. Does everybody want the same thing? Do they all want to keep trying to grow it organically with obviously, of course, having the boxing, the NFL, you know, the concerts, everything that goes on like that? Or is there a time when they think, do you know what now? We've taken it as far as we can. We want to sell to the highest bidder. And that, I think, boys, is the most fascinating part of this, that we honestly, at this stage, we don't know. We honestly don't know. You know, as I'm talking to you right now, we're hearing reports in regards to, you know, certain situations. I'm looking here. Rob Harris is saying sources close to the Lewis family tell Sky News generations of the Lewis family support this special football club, and the fans want more wins more often. This is why you've seen recent changes, new leadership and a fresh approach. If you go by that news that's coming out of Rob Harris, who's the Sky News senior correspondent, that would tell you ENIC are not going anywhere. If anything, ENIC are staying on, and they've recognised how the fans feel, what the fans want, and going by this, what we're seeing here, that is what you've seen has led to change and having a new leadership and a fresh approach right from the top. So again, that's quite fascinating in itself.
But it just could be like a completely new approach from ENIC as well, because we've heard, obviously, Joe Lewis potentially passing on his kind of ownership role to his daughter, Vivian Lewis. We saw Vivian Lewis
was there, wasn't she?
Yeah.
I think the Burnley game she was there.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, if that is true, then that gives me even more kind of massive confidence that Spurs will be going in the right direction.
You boys are great. You're great at asking the questions. I ask you, how do you feel? You know, what do you feel is next for the club? I mean, what do you think, Sim? You know, I think you're one of the most intelligent people we've got in this fan base.
I wouldn't go that far, but I appreciate that.
Apart from certain points last season.
Mate, we were right to stick with Ange, bro. Anyway, regardless of that,
I just got grilled for half an hour on Sky about that.
So what's the question? What do I think this...
what's your feeling about it? How do you feel about it?
I think it's exciting because I think it's what we've all been asking for, and I think this is something that we've all kind of... I think it just gets to a stage, it's a bit like when Arsenal will go through the whole Wenger in, Wenger out debate. You know, it just gets to a point where everyone's sick of the debate. Everyone's sick of the conversation. We need to move on from it. And I think it's a change that needed to happen. I think we can all agree on that. I think Daniel Levy, when it comes to how he operates in the footballing spectrum, his negotiating tactics, all these different things, not only is I think it's a bit outdated, but I also think he's pissed off a lot of chairmen throughout the Premier League. All the chairmen want to get one up on him. It's like a badge of honour, it seems, to get one up on Daniel Levy nowadays in the transfer market. And I think Daniel Levy was struggling or wasn't capable of taking us to that extra upper echelon of where we were to, you know, really competing with the big sides. He didn't do what needed to be done, really. So if he's stepping down and we're going in a different direction because that's what's been recognised, and as what Rob Harris is saying, the Lewis family want better for the football team and better for the club, and what they want to be competing on at higher echelons and these different things. If that's the aim here, then absolutely fantastic. If there's something else afoot and if there's ulterior motives not to do with Tottenham doing well, then you got to be sceptical of that. But obviously right now we've been calling for this. Vina is obviously a guy who's, you know, been in this role before. we don't. I don't know a lot about Charrington and what his role is going to be.
No.
But if what Ben's saying, if Paratici joins the board, and we have someone who's obviously was a big part of a big football club when in their big period of dominance, he knows what it takes to keep a club at that kind of high level when he was there. I think that'll be a real positive thing. He'll know what needs. He'll be a good voice to have in the boardroom. Put it that way.
Yeah, I think the fascinating thing is, boys, and I mean Ben comes to you on that point. You know, Daniel Levy has been the heartbeat of this club for the last 25 years. Like he's even said, he's in control of everything when it comes to even choosing the colour seating of the seats at the stadium. So like, I mean, I'm talking about the conference rooms here, not the stadium seats. I'm going as far as the conference rooms and everything down to the napkins.
The wiring in the stadium, the wiring.
Everything was to the nth degree was Daniel Levy having the footprint on everything. Then suddenly, when that man has gone like that, I just think it's fascinating as well when you think about the timing of that overlap interview. We're going to about, a couple of months ago. Do you think about the overlap interview to now and kind of think, that's it, he's gone? You know, I will be fascinated because I would presume at some point we're going to get a statement from Daniel Levy. We're going to have to get some form of statement. I think that'll be fascinating in terms of what comes out from there.
Well, they did release an official statement.
Yeah. Obviously, Daniel had said a few words. I just... At some point, there's going to be, I think, a video interview. They won't leave it like this. We're going to see a video interview from Daniel at some point. I don't think you can leave it just on like a, when you've been at a club for 25 years, where everything about Daniel Levy, there's going to be something to camera. There's going to have to be because of the nature of how big it is. So I think it's going to be absolutely fascinating how these next few weeks work out. And for anybody that was thinking in the Spurs content space, we're going to get a break. It's international break. No, you're not.
100%.
So cancel any holidays you had with your partners because that's going out the window.
Unbelievable.
It's going to be fascinating, boys.
Did you think for a second, Ricky, when you woke up this morning, you're like, all right, international break, nice weekend off, and now that's slow. Like, I just can't believe this has actually happened, man. I'm just as soon as I got the news, I was pacing up and down the studio, being like, what the hell do I do with myself
when
now?
It broke, I thought the Spurs official turned into a parody account for a second.
Yeah.
I kept looking, thinking, is this the real account with the tick? The verification tick. I couldn't quite believe what I'm seeing, but it's going to be absolutely fascinating. Fascinating how these next few weeks play out because, look, we said about the timing of it. Maybe they did it deliberately now. We're entering into an international break. When you think about it, there's no game that's on to have as a distraction right now. It maybe has been planned to be deliberately like that, where it happens at the early part of the international break, because West Ham's still a week and a half away. So it's going to be absolutely fascinating in terms of what comes next. There's never a dull moment in the Spurs sphere, is there? I mean, it's just, I know people must laugh and think, this club, what is it like to be as a fan? It's no joke. Every day, every week there is something. People might think it's a joke, but you've always got something to talk about. So,
Ricky, what do you think of the theory that Romero was told Levy's resigning? That's why he signed the new contract.
You know what? So I didn't think about that. You know what's funny? So I didn't think about that. Look, again, you do wonder. You do wonder because again, you thought about it at the time. Because I was thinking, even when Romero signed the contract, that was before the Eze.
Yeah, fell through. Yeah,
down, and you thought he must have thought, "What am I doing signing here?" So, like I said, it's interesting. You then look back, like you say, Sim, to all those things that have happened before that, and think how in the know were the players, how in the know were certain senior officials. Because again, you have to think about this: to have kept this so quiet, in the world that we live in now, with football agents, with publications, with media. I mean, look,
oh, is he gone?
Did give us an indication that he felt there was going to be a change in. You guys? Oh.
We've lost you there for a second.
You oh, there you go. You're back.
You're back now.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, I was going to say it's going to be fascinating how these next few weeks pan out and what kind of comes next because you just feel it's not the end of the story. We're only getting started. That is honestly it. We're only just getting started into what is going to be a new chapter for Tottenham, and hopefully, boys, a positive one where there's many, many trophies to come.
Do you think we would just reading Vinay obviously takes over as CEO, Charrington non-executive chairman. Vinay is going to do the day-to-day stuff. Does that mean do you reckon he steps on the negotiating table to replace Levy, or do you think Charrington has a say in that? It's going to be fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've just recovered, boys, for the transfer window. We haven't got to think about it for 3 months, have we?
It never stops.
I've only just recovered, and we're going back. We're talking about negotiations already. I'm trying to get over some negotiations.
Fast forward to January, Ricky. I can't wait till this next transfer window.
I wish I had Jason McGovern lined up for that question. That would have gone down well. It's going to be fascinating, boys. It's going to be absolutely fascinating. But look, there's a lot of Tottenham fans tonight that are going to be very, very happy by this news. They're also, let's be honest about it, there's going to be some out there, like, a very small portion, I would say, that are also going to be maybe worried about the unknown. What I would say is that, look, I've said this before on your show, you boys are amazing on here, that, players come and go, managers come and go, staff come and go, the fans are here forever. And remember, a lot of fans campaigned for this and wanted this. And even Stelios, like you said, changes happen. So it just shows you how powerful fan power is. And look, when you go by what we're hearing being those sources close to Daniel Levy with Joe Lewis, they've recognised the fact that there now needs to be an adoption of where a change is needed. So it's going to be absolutely fascinating, guys, to see how it works out.
And it's true. Like, would that have been realised or recognised from these higher ups if the fans weren't continually putting pressure on the board and making their feelings known? Because if everyone's just seemed happy, if everyone seemed happy at the moment at Tottenham, would the board even have put pressure on Levy to change or have these disagreements? Supposedly,
but it's interesting as well. It's like what has actually led to this decision and this moment right now? Is it Daniel Levy saying, you know what, I've been here for 25 years, it's been a long time. Anyone in the same role at 25 years, they're coming to the end in any job. Or has it been a push from the top? Has it been a push from ENIC? Has it been a push from Joe Lewis or Vivian?
If we go from what we were hearing, which is, it seems to be a coincidence that would be a lie, but yet Levy steps down. You know what I mean? Yeah. We were hearing that Lewis installed Charrington as a check on Levy because they want to go in a different direction. They want to start being more competitive and stuff like that. And they were butting heads. Obviously, apparently they forced Cullen to step down. All these different things. Now it could be rubbish, but it'd be a major coincidence. That's all rubbish. Yet Levy's just decided to step down anyway. You know what I mean? So there must be some truth to that.
I think it'll be fascinating, boys. Like I say, we're all second guessing here what comes next, but I'm hearing now people saying, get Harry Kane back at this football club. It's things like that you think, even with that, again, we heard the suggestions how difficult Kane's exit was for Tottenham and how, hard he found it to get out of the building or not be let back in the building. Again, there's so many different, like you said, Sim, so many different connotations to this. You mentioned about Romero there, certain players of certain deals that haven't worked out, certain managers that were blocked that, maybe could have worked out. There is, honestly, guys, there is, like you said, Sim, there is so many theories as to what comes back round now in the next few weeks. But look, we have to remember one thing. We've got a good manager in Thomas Frank. I think the majority of fans like him. Majority of fans, I think, like the squad as well. This squad of winners, don't get me wrong. We've had 4 exciting players come in that elevate the first team. I think we can all sit here and agree, as fans, we always want more. I think we honestly are, in my opinion, 2 or 3 players away from being genuinely in a position where we could really, really compete. And that's why I think a lot of people tonight, when they put their head on the pillow, will think to themselves, you know what? If this change results into Tottenham becoming a Tottenham where they could seriously want to strive to compete, we've got such an exciting future ahead of us. But I know with Tottenham, it's never a dull moment. Honestly, this football club, just when you think you've got 5 minutes free, it surprises you like you never would imagine. Only Tottenham. Only Tottenham, boys. That's all I can say is only Tottenham.
Big up to you, Ricky. Thanks for coming on today. I'll let you have a few moments to yourself before you're back at it, back on Last Word on Spurs with Paul O'Keefe
we'll
tonight.
be tuning in. We'll all be tuning in.
We'll all be tuning in, exactly. But thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us today, mate.
Always. Thank you,
nice
boys.
one, Ricky. Cheers for coming on, mate.
Cheers, mate. And you know what? He makes a very good point regarding Harry Kane, because only an hour ago I was saying to you, Harry Kane back in the summer?
Why not?
Well, now Levy's gone, and we all know what happened when he did leave the club, and how he left it on really bad terms with Levy. And there was even a suggestion to say, I don't know how true it was, that Harry Kane said he'll never come back while Levy's still here. Well, Levy's gone now.
And it's interesting, as it's just been pointed out on X. So obviously, sources close to this deal, they're talking about the Lewis family wanting change because they want to win more football games and all this kind of stuff, right? And the Lewis family have only gained more power because Joe Lewis had to step down because he had this whole legal thing, right, about insider information.
Insider trading.
So potentially, was that insider trading incident the first domino to have fallen to lead to this moment here?
Could very well be.
That Daniel Levy has left. which is quite interesting to think about.
Very well be. It could very well be. There's so many like little things, aren't there, in the build up to this, where you can think about, is that one of the precursors to change? Was that one of the precursors? But the reality is we're sitting here and Daniel Levy is no more part of this football club. Well, into the day-to-day running of the football
he's
club
still got
anyway.
a stake. He's still got his shares, 28%.
Still there to pick up some money, that's for sure.
Should we go through Super Chats?
Yeah. Old Pillow Room says Daigle will reserve the 4th of September as a national holiday.
remember the 4th of September.
Exactly. Nick Mosley says, "Welp, I guess Christmas is in September now." Ian JD says, "Do you think this could mean we could be sold soon?"
I think there's a big possibility that, but it's only because we've heard that Levy was one of the big obstacles. Consistently, we've heard it, that he was one of the big obstacles whenever an offer came in. And if it's true, apparently Charrington there was rumours he's been installed to try and help facilitate a sale because Levy keeps blocking it and keeps asking for unrealistic things. So I think it's very possible this happening could then in the near future lead to a sale.
Do you think Levy's still going to be at the games, like weekly?
I don't know about that. I don't think in the short term. Maybe down the line once the dust is settled.
He's still got like a massive stake in the club, right?
I know, but right now he's left. I think there'll be too much focus on him. Like, I think maybe once the dust is settled, he might start coming back.
Malware members chat member for 4 months. Malware says, "Today, gents, we have won. Mark this day on your calendar, boys, as the day Levy has left. We will make this a yearly holiday. Levy out September the 4th.
Levy out anniversary, 4th of September. We'll come back in a year's time.
Love it.
Also, but when it comes to what you're saying about Levy going to games, something tells me he's not going to be going to every game again after this. Like, he's not there for the football, really. He's there because he owns Tottenham, and obviously he cares about what's going on because it affects him. But now it doesn't. I guess it kind of still does because he's got 30%.
It does, yeah, exactly.
But it kind of, he's there to watch it because he has to make the decisions. But now he's not made decisions. He's invested in it in a sense that it kind of affects him in terms of the better we do, he still gets more money. But is he going to be like still invested in football? Is he going to be like checking the score after the game kind of thing?
I don't know. I think, look, he's been just there, ever present, every single game, week after week after week for 25 years. He's been sitting in that same spot in the new stadium and at Whitehall Lane, just above that golden
Charrington
cockerel.
Spot now.
Do you reckon Charrington just takes up that spot?
He just
now?
takes it.
It's so strange.
My seat now. We'll have to
So
wait and see. We'll have to
strange.
wait and see in the next home game.
Dreddo says, "We've got Levy out." Said, "We've got Levy out."
We got Levy out. So we got Levy out.
Michael Hellman says, "And Levy couldn't get a left winger in his last hurrah."
One final parting gift.
Yeah. Samuel, well, his last parting gift was Javi Simons. Ain't bad. Oh, no, Moani. Samuel Lynch says, "We need to erect a statue of Brian Daigle outside the stadium now."
We might start doing statues now. Levy's gone. Levy was the one who didn't want to spend the money on the
Yeah,
statues.
it's true. Malware says, "This club and Levy has been giving us all Stockholm syndrome. I'm just happy we don't have to go through Levy abuse anymore. Big up, guys." And it's true. It's just like, it just feels like a whole weight has just been lifted off my shoulders. Just like, who do we blame now if it goes wrong?
Great question. Stell said you got to start blaming the manager now.
Yeah. Joey Boy says, hear ye, where is Mr. Daigle? You've all seen Mr. Daigle now. Michael Helm with another super chat says, unironically, sales will probably go up. Hashtag Levy out. It's going to be a weird dynamic, isn't it, at the Villarreal game? First game back in the Champions League. No Levy. Do you reckon there'll be songs? Do you reckon there'll be some celebrations?
Yeah,
Like,
do you reckon the club will do anything?
I don't know.
Probably not. I don't know, maybe.
Have you ever seen a club doing anything for an owner, for a CEO leaving? I've never seen it before.
Yeah, I guess not. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I think like if I remember rightly, like when Doug Ellis left Villa, there was like a whole, but he was popular, so it's different. Like, I don't think they would want to do anything that seems controversial.
Did they do anything when Mike Ashley left?
Probably not. Probably not. I don't think so.
The thing is, if they do something for Levy, like, it'll probably like be a bit of a carnival and party atmosphere in the stadium,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
true.
All right. Old Pillow Room says 5 hours time difference. Daigle hasn't heard yet.
Oh, he's heard. He's heard. Don't you worry about that.
If it was 2, 3, 4 in the morning, he still would have heard. Go Victoria says, pause. This is an executive change, not an ownership change. Yeah, look, that is true. That is true. But I don't know. It just feels like ENIC are trying to go in the right direction, and particularly if Vivian comes in, because the things I've heard of what she wants to do with the club, I think everyone will be.
And Levy's known for being a micromanager, having control over everything.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we saw it in the documentary alone.
And this is very significant.
Yeah. Michael Helban says this club should be warned. This club should have warned me to sit down before releasing that notification. We can now smile without him. Tottenham can smile without him. Hashtag come on you Spurs.
It's a new dawn.
Michael Hellman's very happy. Andrew Din says, with Levy being transferred out, does this make this summer transfer window 10 out of 10? New CEO, new board shake-up, a whole new coaching staff. I mean, they just weren't lying when they said summer of change this year.
It really
How many false dawns have we heard? Summer of change this, summer of change that.
And here we are, a proper change.
Why do you think this has happened, though, like after the window and not before the window?
Maybe then, he wanted a handover. Maybe it's... Did he want to... Because it's a big job, isn't it, coming into Tottenham? Taking everything. You can't just chuck him in the deep and say, okay, go sign some players. Like, you've got to understand how the club's run, all these different things, the financials, the budget. So I think it makes sense. You give him a transfer window with Daniel Levy. He kind of doesn't show them the ropes of like how a transfer window works. I'm sure they're experienced, but how Tottenham do things. This is how we operate, and then they're going to implement their own ideas. But they need to see it in action first before.
So how we saw Donna Cullen out in Korea and on the pre-season tour, and people were saying like she was there because it was like a kind of a handover kind of thing.
Could be like
Do you reckon that's what this is? Like Levy actually just stayed on in this summer transfer window as a kind of handover with Charrington and Vinay there.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want is Levy leaves to begin the transfer window, they're chucked in the deep end, and then all of a sudden they're they don't know how certain things work, and it slows down the progress we can make or whatever, and it could probably give you some unforeseen problems. So I think it probably makes sense to do it this way.
Medic Greg says, so what is Brian's sign-off phrase now? Oh, and his final phrase now is, and as always, Levy gone. Motta says, the missus couldn't make me happier than this.
Brilliant.
I Hate Marmite says, now we have our Tottenham back. I think we need to wait and see about that one, but let's hope so. Let's bloody hope so. I think it's a massive step in the right direction. Chris and Chip says, a mad one says, season 3 is better than season 2.
Yeah,
well, let's hope season 25 is always better than the first 24 seasons. Joshua Bonner says, poor recruitment decisions and botched transfers caught up with him. Did good work, but some baffling decisions. So happy for Ben. The day is here. And look, like I said before on my original opening statement, like we do have a lot to thank the board and Daniel Levy for being in this position now where we are a club ready to explode. But like I said, like Josh Bonner says, so many baffling decisions, so many periods of stagnation like we've been in the last couple of years. Getting to a certain level, then once you get to that level, it's clear. It's clear for everyone to see what Spurs need to push on and get to the promised land and get to the next level. But we've always gone backwards at that point, every single time.
And I think it's just in general, if you're anywhere for 25 years, there's a risk of things going stale when you just sometimes you need a fresh set of eyes on things, and that's just natural. And I think that's where we're at.
Yeah. Declan Kennedy says, hope you're all well, guys. What an absolutely brilliant day. Good times ahead. Come on, you Spurs. Who's this one? Ginger Vision House says, what do you guys think Ange is feeling right now?
I don't think he cares. He's not part of the club anymore. I don't know why I'd be bothered by it. I know you could argue, Levy let him down with the window and whatever, and Levy sacked him. There was even suggestions that Levy wanted to keep him. The other guys,
yeah, but do you not feel like Ange would be thinking, looking at the club's summer transfer window, being like, I mean, I wish I had that.
Oh, in that sense, yes. In terms of just the Levy news, I don't think he'd care. But I think, 100%, he's probably looking at our window thinking, if I had these players, we would have been in a much better position last season.
Malware says Daigle is going to go live, can go live his next 24 hours like the Hangover movie. Please, guys, check on Daigle soon.
I think Daigle needs to go live for 24 hours, 1 hour for each year of Levy's tenure. That's what he needs to do. You hearing that, Daigle?
And Dark Sun G says, is this why we got Kudus from West Ham, because Levy's gone? I don't know about that, but
I don't know
like
if the two are linked.
Yeah, look, you could clearly see, like, out of all the transfer windows that Daniel Levy has managed and manoeuvred, this one did feel different to them all in terms of bringing in proven quality and, top quality as well. Javi Simons, an unbelievable talent with experience and proven quality. And it's not just the transfers that we got over the line, but also the transfers which we didn't get over the line, which just shows you that's the calibre of player that Spurs were going for.
Himothy claims that Levy has not willingly stepped down. He was pushed to step down. There are possibilities of Paratici no longer continuing.
Oh.
Levy and his family are in shock.
Well, that suggests that that's just come out of the blue then.
I mean, how can Levy be in shock if he stepped down? Oh, because he's been forced to. But what? How can they force him to?
But I mean, we have heard like this has been in the works, and I mean, the first we heard of this in this kind of recent era was just after the Europa League final.
Yeah. Yeah, we heard about he was being forced to step down in the summer. Well, Lee McQueen was saying all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously it's hard to believe because it just is. And then, but it just seems too much of a coincidence to that all be rubbish. And then he leaves anyway. You know what I mean? So there must be some truth to it, surely.
I think so.
There must be. I mean, it's too much of a coincidence for it not to be some truth to it. I can't exactly remember the details of what he said, but it was something like Charrington was installed because the Lewis family are wondering what keeps stopping the sale of the club, and also they want to start competing more, and they feel like Levy's an obstacle to that and an obstacle to the sale and all these different things. So they've installed Charrington to kind of force his hand a bit and push him out, but to obviously push him out, they would have, I'm guessing, because he has 30%, they would have needed, I guess, unanimous, or I don't know how it works, maybe unanimous like voting to force him out. So that seemed unlikely, but maybe that's happened. Obviously, Cullen is down, was also allegedly forced down. Look, I don't know how these things work. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not sure about the inner workings of the boardroom and what rights different people have, but it just seemed unlikely they would be able to force him out. But maybe there must be some truth to it.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever has happened, it's a bloody beautiful day. I'm not going to lie. It's a bloody beautiful day. I can't believe I'm sitting here. Like when I came into the office this morning, I thought, what the hell are we going to record today, man?
And here we are.
I just cannot believe it. But big up to all the 3,000 of you in the chat right now. Everyone go and smash that like button for Daniel Levy leaving Tottenham Hotspur on this beautiful day. On this beautiful day. And I can't wait now to get down to the stadium. Get down to even an away end in the London Stadium. Yeah, I'm going to go now. Straight after this, I'm going down to the stadium. Oh, my God. It's just unbelievable. I don't know. There's just something in me that feels like a takeover is about to happen. Not like imminent in the next few days, but at some point in the next year or two.
Yeah. But what do you think of this news potentially being true about Paratici? Because Levy was obviously a big fan of his. That's why he brought him in. In fact, I remember there were reports saying like Levy was kind of, I think the report was saying like, well, he brought in Paratici and he was obviously a big fan of what he was doing at Juve, and he was, when he came in, he was like very like smitten by him. Like he was really impressed and like listened to everything he said, kind of thing.
And stuck by him. As well.
Exactly. So do you think it's true they're linked?
I don't know.
It makes sense. I don't know.
It's hard to say, but I mean, with the original reports that we heard that you're talking about just after the Europa League final, suggested that Paratici would be in board level once Levy leaves. So it's hard to know, isn't it? It's hard to know. It's hard to even make a prediction about it. But that is the shocking news of the day, and I'm sure all of you are absolutely delighted right now. Absolutely delighted. But
You thought the Bombers were over after the window closed. Eh? You thought the Bombers were
this
over.
This is the biggest bomber of them all. The biggest bomber of them all. But look, we'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow for another day of Spurs content. I think it's time to sit back, relax.
There's one more
pop
super
a bottle
chat.
tonight. Go on, read it
This
out.
is an executive change, not an own. Oh, he's read that one. Did you?
I think he sent it again. Maybe he didn't realise I read it. But thank you very much for sending in the super chat. Look, we'll leave it there, guys. I think it's time to sit back and relax and put your feet up and, a bit of a celebration tonight.
Day.
Bit of a celebration tonight.
How's everyone going to be celebrating tonight? Put in the chat. I want to know what you're going to be doing tonight to celebrate Daniel Levy finally leaving this football club after 25 long years. It's been such a long road. It's just hard to think about. It's hard to envisage he's been so closely linked to our identity as a club. It's like Spurs. He's almost like a Levy thing in a way. He's been so closely linked to that and how we've operated. It's going to be very interesting to see how these next few years pan out, what the plans are, what different steps we're taking. We've seen little steps of it already. We've seen little inklings, but is this just the beginning? Are we going to make bigger moves?
Xavi Simons and Randall Muani are not going to ever play a game for Levy's Tottenham.
Crazy.
Mad.
It's going to be very interesting to see kind of where this all leads, because as much as it's an exciting change, it's still with the unknown.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's going to be. It's just sit back, wait, see what kind of direction we go in.
All right.
What's my mum saying in the super chat?
Oh, actually, what she said.
She has said, Grandpa would have said there were lots of positives in what he created. Hopefully, the new chairman will be popular with fans. Historically, the past chairman also were not.
Yeah, that's
Grandpa
also true.
also, look, we had positives to say about him. I've got a lot of positives to say about Levy. He's done a great job, and whatever you want to say about him, we are in a great position, and that's thanks to him. We're in a great position to push on. He didn't leave us in a mess. He didn't leave us in a situation where you don't really see a positive future. He's left us in a brilliant situation, and we thank him for it. But when it comes to the footballing operations, there needed to be a change.
Yeah.
We always said he can stay on, but he can't negotiate anymore. He can't be involved in the footballing side. But it seemed as though he just can't stay away, could he? He couldn't. He couldn't let himself relinquish that power and responsibility.
I think even Grandpa, however positive he was and always was positive about everything, he also, was talking about Levy's shortcomings at times.
Yeah.
So, look, it's time to be positive. It's time to look forward into the sunset, into the sunlight, should I say? Let's look forward into the sunlight, and let's hope for better days for Tottenham Hotspur, which I'm sure they're coming. The good days are coming, people.
Feels like we're in the middle of a 30-year Football Manager save or something. And Daniel Levy's finally this is something just beyond the realms of what you think in reality.
Yeah.
But here we are. We are.
But look, we'll leave it there, guys. I want to thank you all for tuning in today. Monstrous numbers.
Beer we go, someone said.
The beer we go. It's time for that tonight. But I want to leave it on saying, come on! Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always,
Come on, you Spurs!